Welcome back to the All Things Basketball Podcast. I can't believe I'm doing this episode. I can't believe I'm talking about the Denver Nuggets firing Mike Malone. And I also can't believe that I'm adding on to that by saying that they also fired Calvin Booth. I mean, this has been such a weird season if you're a basketball fan. The Luka trade to the Lakers was obviously the biggest one. That aside, we got the Karl Anthony Towns trade before the season. That was crazy as well. We also got the Taylor Jenkins firing before the playoffs. That was another one of those things that I don't think a lot of people expected to happen this season. And now we got the Denver Nuggets news. If you're a fan of the Nuggets or you watch the Michael Malone's pressers and you're following them closely, you watch their games, you know that there was a rift between Michael Malone and Calvin Booth and the ownership with roster construction and finance problems. The small market teams, making those tough decisions to stay under the cap and, hoping that they can just hit through the draft and hoping that they can kind of find cheaper ways to help improve the roster. Calvin Booth is a guy that, he was looking to inject some youth into this roster. That's something that we know Michael Malone was never really a fan of. He plays his vets, and you really got to prove that you are a damn good player if you're young and you want to play under Michael Malone. That's what Christian Brown was able to do. Peyton Watson showed a lot of that as well. But again, just like the rift really started, in my opinion, just me following these Nuggets, when they couldn't afford Bruce Brown. Like what Bruce Brown was looking for, the Nuggets, I don't think they were even able to. Even if they wanted to, I don't think they were able to pay Bruce Brown what I think the Pacers ended up paying him. So that was an unfortunate situation for the Denver Nuggets. And look, it wasn't the end-all be-all, in my opinion. Like they could have still plugged, right? I think losing Bruce Brown, it was a big piece to their championship, but you still feel pretty okay, right? You still have the best player in the world in Jokic. You still have that second man next to him, Jamal Murray. You still have Michael Porter Jr. You still have Aaron Gordon. Obviously, Christian Brown looking to, still help with the team. And it's just like, you're not feeling too bad. Then the next season comes along. And this was the first, I guess, real loss to this team that definitely hit harder, in my opinion. And that was the KCP domino. Losing KCP going into this year was definitely something that I think the Nuggets regret. And look, man, you can look at what KCP's doing in Orlando right now and say, hey, man, they dodged a bullet. They would have had to pay him that, and he would have produced like that. I disagree. I think that he would not be playing this poorly if he was on the Denver Nuggets in a familiar situation. He's still in the same place. He has the same teammates, same coaching staff. He knows his role. Everything stays pretty much the same. He's just getting paid more. And I think that hurt the Nuggets for sure because it was just an extra guy that allowed the bench to be just a little bit deeper, right? Like you could still have Christian Brown coming off the bench, right? And then, you have Peyton Watson. You just have that extra guy coming off that bench that you can trust, right? And I just think that, look, man, they did a good job signing Russ. I think he's been very effective. Yes, he's had boneheaded plays, and it's just the Russell Westbrook experience. He's going to do good things. He's going to do bad things. But at the contract that you signed him to, I think you live with the Westbrook experiment. That's just my opinion, especially with how on and off the floor Jamal Murray is. And we know about that inconsistency because of the health issues. Now, I kind of went on a tangent, but this Michael Malone firing is an absolute mistake, in my opinion. Now, they didn't like the toxic environment. From what you hear in reports, Calvin Booth and Michael Malone would go a long time without speaking to each other. They just didn't see eye to eye. Calvin Booth was in favor of a youth movement to help the veterans. Michael Malone just wasn't trusting the youthful pieces that were on this line, that were on this roster. And that was always kind of like that rift that was going on behind closed doors. And Michael Malone, he constantly on the roster construction, and he's got to do what he's got to do with what he has. And, you had that trending recent post-game presser where he's talking about guys not wanting to watch film or guys not watching their own film. And I think that while I do think that that may have been the last straw, I think that it's just a combination of, hey man, they're trending in the bad direction. Like they've been losing a lot of games. They've lost a lot of bad games, and they just haven't looked like that juggernaut. They have completely slipped defensively. This team can't guard anybody. That being said, he's your winningest coach in franchise history. He's proven with the championship. He's a damn good coach with a ton of experience. He's been coaching for years. Comes from a family of coaching. I think he checks all the boxes in what you want from an NBA coach. That's just my opinion. I am a fan of Michael Malone. I think it's a mistake to fire him. Now, if you think that he wasn't the guy for the job, I think firing him right before the playoffs is a huge mistake. You never know, right? Like, was this team looking like a team that was going to win a championship? No. But are you going to deny the possibility of Jokic just being the best player in every series and carrying the Nuggets to a potential finals appearance? I don't think you can deny that possibility. So I don't know. I think it was definitely a very hasty decision, and maybe it was just so toxic that ownership was like, you know what, man, we're done with this. We're gonna move in another direction. We're gonna bring David Adelman up, son of legendary coach Rick Adelman. I don't know about David Adelman's coaching potential, right? I don't really know his philosophies or any of that stuff. I just know he's been with the Nuggets for a very long time. So definitely has had time to learn a lot. So I'm hoping for the best for him, but I think this is the beginning of the end. I also think that a sneaky part of this story is that Jamal Murray is probably not coming back for the rest of this season. Like, I think he's going to be out for the season. That is something that I've been reading about, and it makes a little bit of sense, because if they're not going to have Jamal Murray for this playoff run, then I guess they're justified in saying, you know what, we just don't see it this season. Let's let go of this coach. Let's move up. Let's bring an interim coach in the meantime, and we'll start our search. We'll see if David Adelman's got what we need from a coach, and we'll go from there. They're kind of throwing him into the fire to give him some like playoff experience. This is a really good bit of experience for David Adelman, like being able to coach in the playoffs and being able to coach Jokic and being able to make those tough decisions. That's really good experience for an assistant coach to have. But, just such a tough environment to be in if you're the assistant. Just out of nowhere, season is about to get to these playoffs, and oh, hey, by the way, Michael Malone's gone. Here you go, man. Like, I don't know what's going to happen with these Nuggets. I am so disappointed in this season. It's not even over yet, but it's just been so underwhelming. And every time I watch them play, it is so frustrating to watch them just not able to stop anyone. Watching the Nuggets play defense is just a horrible experience. And look, man, like Jokic taking on the responsibility of, you know what, I'm going to shoot threes now more than ever, and I'm just going to make threes because we don't have a ton of three-point shooting around us. And he was able to do that. He's having one of the greatest seasons in NBA history, making a case for MVP, though at this point, he's definitely not trending in that direction. And we know how this narrative stuff goes, how the trending stuff goes. Shea is looking like he's going to run away with the MVP. And it's a damn shame to watch Jokic waste such an incredible season because, they just weren't able to get a good team around Jokic outside of the normal crew, right? You still got, people are always going to shit on that take that Jokic doesn't have enough help because you're looking at Aaron Gordon, you're looking at Jamal Murray, you're looking at Michael Porter Jr. and Christian Brown and even Peyton Watson to a certain extent. They have Russell Westbrook with that good contract. For better or worse, he does bad things, he does good things. But when you really watch them, it's not what it used to be. It's just not. Michael Porter Jr. has gotten to this point where the fans are turning on him because of the contract, because of the inconsistency. Jamal Murray, I think fans are exhausted of the let's wait for the playoffs and see what he's got. Like, I think fans are tired of that. And honestly, I am too. Like, I am so tired of giving Jamal Murray the benefit of the doubt. And yes, he's big time in big moments, but it's just like I've had enough with, is he going to play? Is he not? Is he injured to start the playoffs? It's always a concern. And I think when you have the best player in the world on your team, there's no time to waste, right? You need to make moves. And I think that's something that Michael Malone was also frustrated with. Like, here's the best player in the world, and we're not doing everything we can to put guys around him, like continue to improve the roster. We're worried about money and cap flexibility and staying under the second apron and all this financial stuff. Like, when you have the best player in the world, and it's not like this is one of those situations where it's like, we're not sure if he can really get us there. He's the best player in the world that's won a championship, and he is breaking records every season. I don't know what the Nuggets are going to end up doing. This is some very horrible news for the Nuggets fans who finally, they get their just franchise player who is arguably a top 10 player of all time. I don't know where people rank him, but I think that's where I'm putting him right now. And here they are, with another wasted season. Disappointing news. Spur of the moment pod. I hope I didn't miss some points. I guess we'll see what happens with David Adelman.